Hi, today is Tuesday, March 7th, 2017. It's the second week of Lent, and this is a Swede Speaks. Last week, the American reporter Tucker Carlson interviewed British journalist Katie Hopkins. Katie Hopkins recently went to Sweden, and she went to Rinkeby to find out what's really going on in Sweden, and to find out if Sweden is the utopia that it's supposed to be, or if Donald Trump is right in anything what he says about Sweden. And her conclusion is very interesting, because she says that a lot of women, when she went to Rinkeby, she couldn't find any women. She was at least she said, she was the only white woman outside in Rinkeby, because women are scared to go out there, so they stay at home. And when they have to go out, like when they come from work and are going home, some of them are running home because they are afraid of getting attacked. And one woman that she had interviewed, who didn't want her real name to be used, and who didn't want to be filmed, she said that she didn't want to be publicly known because she was afraid of the Swedish feminists, because the feminists would label her a racist if she went public with this. So what do we have here? The third wave feminists of Sweden are more interested in protecting a false image of Sweden as a multicultural utopia than to actually protect women's rights, or to protect women from attacks. Isn't this interesting? I mean, I am not surprised at all. I've been saying this for a long time, that feminism today has nothing to do with protecting women. It's about Marxism and utopianism. It's identity politics. And under no circumstances do they want to admit that their project is failed and it's doomed to fail. Because let's take a look at what is multiculturalism. In theory, multiculturalism is the idea that different cultures will live side by side in the same area, maybe the same country, the same general area. For instance, the Center Party of Sweden, who are very left-leaning culturally, they are very much into this multiculturalist idea, although they are supposedly a non-socialist party. Well, maybe they are. Tea is my lifeline right now. Anyway, and they think that it would be a good idea to have Chinatowns or little Mogadishus and so on in Sweden. Well, the fact is that when Tino Sanandaji, who is a Swedish or a Kurdish Swedish economist, who is one of the few people who are actually speaking up about the financial consequences of the Swedish migration policies, and also some of the crime-related consequences, says that when you look at the United States, the people who were living in these ethnic enclaves were poorer than people living other places. And this includes, for instance, Chinese Americans who lived in little Chinas. They were poorer, more unemployed, etc., than other Chinese Americans who had left Chinatown and were living in what you could call regular America, with native-born people as their neighbors. Well, I don't mean Native Americans, and I don't mean them, but I mean people, Americans, American-born American citizens. And yeah, well, anyway, this might be a little digression, but anyway, the point here is that the multiculturalist ideology, first of all, it actually makes people poorer. This is one of the things. The other thing is, this is a kumbaya ideology. This is La La Land. The idea that everyone's going to get along perfectly fine if everyone just smiles at each other or something like this. Well, all cultures are not peaceful, and especially Islam is not peaceful. As long as Islam is a very small minority, the followers of Islam will preach tolerance and so on. But as soon as they start to grow, and when they reach some sort of critical mass, and that mass has been reached in Sweden and in many other Western countries, trust me on this, they show their aggressive face instead. They start to try to take control of the areas where they are in majority or almost majority, places like Rinkeby in Stockholm, Gottsunda outside Uppsala, Rosengård in Malmö, and many other places around Sweden. And in the long run, they are trying to take over the entire country. And in a culture like Sweden, as I mentioned, Sweden haven't gone to war for over 200 years. The last war Sweden was involved in was 1814, and that was a disgraceful war, by the way. But that's a completely other history, or another story. But anyway, an Israeli once said that the Swedes are damaged by peace, and I am sorry, but I have to agree. I believe that the reason that my Finnish-born grandparents were much saner than the Swedish-born part of my family was precisely this: they had to fight to remain an independent country. They knew that you cannot hug an enemy to stop killing you. Force has to be met by force. And Swedish feminists, I'm sorry, but you are no good for Swedish women. There's also another story I would like to go into, which I think is related to this one. In the south of Sweden, in Skåne, or Scania in Latin, and well, in Old English at least, but maybe Skåne is the name in English now. But anyway, at the school there, two boys raped a girl, and at least one of them has actually been convicted for this too. But they were all pupils at the same school, and because the age for getting convicted getting sentenced for anything in Sweden other than juvenile detention is 15 years, and one of the boys were over 15. The article doesn't say if they were ethnic Swedes or if they were first or second generation immigrants or so on, so I don't know about that. I'm not going to claim something I don't know. But anyway, and what does the principal of the school do? He lets all three continue in the same school. So this girl, this rape victim, is supposed to be in the same school as her rapists. Of course, she does no longer go to this school. She goes to another school because she couldn't handle facing them there every day. And that is, I mean, are you stupid? Seriously? This principal is probably a nice man. And an idiot. I'm sorry, but that's what it is. Because he's probably one of these kumbaya la la land multiculturalists. That's what I'm going to call them from now on. Kumbaya la la land multiculturalists. Just remember where you heard it first. And yeah, what can you say? The story has been checked, and it is true. And now it sounds like, and he defended his decision, saying that, well, they were all victims. Yeah, what kind of victim is a rapist? A victim of a bad childhood or of strange cultural ideas or something? I have no idea. And that's the problem. This is also a part of the Swedish feminism, to feel sorry for everyone. Crimes should be punished. Period. The feeling sorry part, leave that to I don't know, to the psychologists or something. But criminals should be punished. And yeah, and that's the way it is. And tomorrow is International Women's Day, a day that was instituted by the Soviet Union, by the way. So that's a day I am decidedly not celebrating. But I thought it could be worth mentioning that the Swedish feminists and other leftists are actually anti-woman. And I, as a traditionalist, conservative, anti-feminist, is much more pro-woman than any of them. And that's what I have to say about this right now. I would like to thank the people who are supporting this channel through PayPal and through Patreon. I would also like to thank the people who are praying for this channel. I know there are a few, and I would like to thank them. And if you like this channel, please subscribe so you don't miss anything. Please share my videos on social media. Please like my videos if you like them. If you got something to say, feel free to comment. And I would also like to encourage you to support this channel. That can, as I said, be done through PayPal. It can be done through Patreon. And I will include all the necessary information in the information box below. This is a Swede Speaks. Have a nice day.